And I decided to film the resin part anyways. So I've got my resin all mixed. Like I said, same amount as yesterday. I'm doing, or same amount as last layer. I'm doing all my layers the same thickness. So pour it on. Get as much out of that container as possible. My container looks fuller because I'm using a different container than yesterday. This particular one is also silicone, but it's a little bit softer than the one that I used yesterday, and I find this one a little bit easier to clean out. So when I figured out my resin amounts, I did it 1/8 of an inch thick. You could do it a 1/16 and have it a thinner layer if you find that they're a little bit too thick for your liking. But I did it because I definitely wanted to be able to see, the dimension. I definitely wanted to be able to see that there was different layers. The other thing is make sure all of your acrylic paint is dry before you put the resin on. Not because the resin would affect it too much, because acrylic paint dries fairly quickly, and by the time you've mixed your resin it probably is dry. But you don't want to, when I'm moving it around with my, well, this is a popsicle stick that I use to stir it, I don't want to accidentally affect my acrylic paint, and if I happen to have a thick layer somewhere and I touch it, I'll move it around, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just making sure to make sure that my resin goes to all of the edges. And once I've got it down, or once I've made sure that it reaches every edge, I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to remove the bubbles. And like I said last time, I'm going to continue to do that for probably about a half an hour. I found yesterday after about a half an hour there wasn't really any bubbles coming to the surface, so I do still watch it for a little while after that. But now, heat gun on a low setting. This is one of my favorite parts. I just love popping the bubbles. It's almost mesmerizing. And make sure you get those corners, because they tend to have a little bit, they tend to kind of hide in those corners because of the ledge or of the edge of the frame and the shadow. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to see there, so make sure you don't miss them. All right, those bubbles are popped. I'm going to continue to watch it, and once again I'm going to put something over top of it to help reduce the dust that might get in there. We'll see you tomorrow.